Good afternoon, Facebook, and good morning, wherever you are. And it's over to Tina to introduce our guest this week.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Repurposing Your Content. Our guest today is, I'm still gonna butcher it. Tania
Shipman.
So welcome, Tania. Thank you for joining us. I still wanted to say Tania, even though I just asked her like literally 2 seconds ago how to pronounce her name. So, but it's Tania Shipman. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's really nice to be here with you too.
So, Tania, tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are.
So I'm Tania Shipman and I live in Australia. So it's 2 a.m. in the morning here, everybody, which is why there's dark windows behind me. So I stayed up rather than go to bed and get back up. And I come up with ideas and solutions for businesses, and I'm concentrating on business automation. And the reason I concentrate on business automation is that if you have as much as possible in your business automated, then you're able to have more time to concentrate on the creative, the networking, the people side of it, while all the mundane and boring tasks get done for you by automation.
Wonderful. We're all about that, aren't we, Stephen?
Oh, we are, yeah. Anything that helps and does the repetitive tasks that have to be done. Because we have our favourite apps, and it's good to have you here today and to learn a little bit about your take on automation. Now, what ways do you use automation?
Well, same as the majority of anybody who's online, I have an autoresponder, sign-up pages, lead magnets, all the things to get people to join up to my email list. I use Facebook Live quite a bit, and while people say that's not an automation, it actually is, because it does all the work for me. I don't have to do anything other than sit here and talk. I also use YouTube and IFTTT, which is If This Then That, to send out my videos to multiple social media sources. One of my favorite tools is called Google Voice Typing, and that allows me, whenever I do a Facebook Live, to actually record what I'm saying, and that then can become a PDF or can become a blog post, can be repurposed exactly as you guys are so powerful about, to be able to use it for other products and to create more products. And so pretty much if it can make my life easier, I use it. And I look for ones that everybody else can use rather than, you need to be a rocket scientist to be able to actually understand it. I look for the really simple ones to use, which is one of the reasons why I love Be Live. I don't actually have to do anything other than click on a few buttons and here we are talking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know Stephen and I both are big fans of If This Then That. It's a tool that's been around for a really long time, and it's surprising that so many people are still not aware of what it is. I have to believe, as long as it's been around, that people have heard of it. It's just not clicking in their brain what it's for, how it can be used, which really is innumerable ways that you can use this tool. So what are you mentioned that you use IFTTT to push your live videos out to other social platforms, which is something that Stephen and I also do, in addition to using repurpose.io. If you're not familiar with that, it's another great tool. But one of the great things about If This Then That and Google Voice that you mentioned, these are free resources.
And when I'm talking about automation, I always try to get people to start with free, because it gives them the belief that they can try it, and if it's no good, they can walk away from it. But usually what happens is once they start trying it, they then start looking for actually even better and stronger things, and products that actually can do a very specific task. Like If This and That, exactly as you said, is excellent. I did a product about 3 months ago, which was called Facebook Live Traffic Automation, and it was about downloading your videos, uploading it, and then IFTTT. I like IFTTT. I'm going to steal that. Thank you, Tina.
That's Stephen's.
Well, thank you, Stephen. I'll take that as well. I never knew what to call it. But you can then choose which social media sites you want it to go to, and you can also then be able to customize it to what you might want to say to go out. But people were unwilling to use it or thought it was too hard. And once they actually could see it, I wrote just a quick instruction manual and did some case studies. And people who weren't using IFTT Triple T started using it for other things. They literally have to be led there, and then once they start seeing it, they just go nuts with it. Which is, you sort of would think, well, why didn't you look for it before? But with most automations, with most businesses, you get told to do something by one person, and you then keep to it. You never actually go and ask why. You just keep pressing the buttons and doing the things that you were taught to do. And it's only when somebody comes along and goes, why do you take 8 steps to do something that's 3 steps, that people will ask, what do you mean? Yeah. Never heard of it. What are you talking about?
Well, the truth is, with a lot of automation tools, and this holds true for IFTTT as well, when you first look at it, it is a little overwhelming. There's just so much that you can do, and it can be a little bit confusing, and can actually make stuff more difficult for yourself if you're not careful. You add too many steps that aren't necessary. So there is a little bit of finessing that you have to do to figure out what works best, and to make it simple instead of actually making it more complicated for yourself. And I've seen people do that. And I've even been guilty of it in the beginning. I had Remember the Milk, I had IFTTT, I had like 100 different things. And then at the end of the day, I didn't even know what I had anymore. And so I just had too many tools. And so I think it's important to test, on a small scale, several different things and find out what you're most comfortable with, and then just roll with that, and don't try to do everything that's out there, because it is overwhelming.
Oh, and that's one of the reasons why I have my business, which is Simple Solutions Today, for finding the simple way of doing things. People like to, exactly as you're saying, complicate it and have to have 100 steps. Actually, one of the members of my business group, automation group, said he'd set it up into a continual loop, because he was posting from one to the other using IFTTT, then it posted again, then it just kept posting for him because he had forgotten that he'd set up different automations. So when he posted to Facebook, it put it on his WordPress blog. When he put it on his WordPress blog, it went to Facebook, and so on and so forth. And he had spammed his own website doing that without it.
I'm actually guilty of this. Just recently, I set up something new automated and didn't realize that I had something already set up for Twitter. And so I was getting the same post on Twitter in triplicate, like for probably a week or more, because I'm not a heavy Twitter user, so I don't look at that every day. And it was just, and when I did go look at it, I'm like, I'm the social media expert. Although my specialty is Facebook, I don't claim it to be Twitter, but you still feel silly when you've spammed your own page. So it is easy to make those kinds of mistakes.
And it absolutely is. And that was one of the things when I did the little product I did, was just to say, when you finish that, go back and check it, because for a couple of days, because it's really easy to, hi Corinda, nice to see you again. It's really easy to do those sort of mistakes. And even then when you add on another one for something else. So for the first week at least, you should just be going in and checking and going, is it doing all the things that I thought it would do? And especially if you add a new one in to do that little check. But it gets so complicated, and that's where you sort of have to stop and go, hang on, how many plugins have I got on my WordPress site, or am I using Zapier? And if I have IFTTT, what are all the products I've got out there? And most people don't keep a real good listing of it at all. It's just, I joined up to that 5 years ago. I've never used it. I don't know how many times you might have heard that, but you sort of go, yeah, but it's a really good product. Yeah, but I had other things to do. But when you look at what they're doing in their business, they're doing it so much harder. Whereas this product that they've had for 5 years, they haven't used at all.
No, I think
that's very true.
Your group is, if the purpose of the group is to help people figure those kinds of things out, there really is no better way than to find someone who has figured it out and just ask them, what are you doing? And most people are more than happy to kind of walk you through what they've learned, and instead of saying, oh no, I'm not helping you, you go figure it out yourself, So I've never had that happen when I've sent somebody a message and said, hey, how are you doing that? I've always gotten a positive reply. I've never had anyone be negative about that. I think we all like to help. and we all realize that we're good at different things. And so, you know, we don't all excel in every area of life. And so if you, and I know Stephen believes this, and I believe that Tania does too, just from watching her, you know, that if you help people, it comes back to you. So don't ever be afraid to share your knowledge with people. You know, two heads are better than one, and so on and so forth. So the more people you get together collectively helping each other, you're all going to do better. And I think that's what Stephen and I try to do with every show that we put together so far. It's always been about, well, how can we take what we've spent months, you know, agonizing over and learning and share with someone else? And we've just had you know, we've built a wonderful community because of that. Yeah. And some things, and I'm going to let Stephen talk. Stephen, when two women get in here, Stephen doesn't get a word in edgewise. He just sits there and looks pretty. So.
No worries.
Very well, I must say.
Well, I'd just like to say hello to David, Carlos, Corinda, John, and Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for watching.
This is Repurposing with myself and Tina and our special guest all the way from Australia, where it's 2 a.m. in the morning, Tania. And thank you for joining us, Tania. If you've got any questions about repurposing, then please ask them. And Drew's joined us. Hello, Drew. So the gang's all here now. And the British Bulldog, indeed. Right. Now, we've talked about IFT. Now, the thing I found about IFTTT is that it's like in Aladdin's cave, but it's a well-organized Aladdin's cave, because you can go in there and you can say, right, okay, what can I do with YouTube? What can I do with Facebook video? What can I do with my blog post? And the more you actually dig into it, there are so many things that you can do, aren't there, that will save you time.
There's so many things in there. And one of the things that is so easy about it is exactly that. I have YouTube, what can it do? And it shows you, and it leads you through. You can get, you know, very fancy with it, but if you just wanted your YouTube to go to Twitter every single time, IFT can do it for you. You don't have to think about it or spend any time, you know, working out APIs and all those other sorts of things. IFT connects everything really easily for you. I think there's been about 2 APIs I actually had to go looking for. The rest of it was just done automatically. They've set it up really well in the background, and it just saves so much time. I get all of my payments that I make to PayPal stored into an Excel spreadsheet through IFT. So just at the end of the month, I can just have a quick run through of all my expenses, and it's there. My YouTube videos get shared automatically to numerous social media sites without having to worry about it. And all of that just makes your life easier, because I don't know about you, but when you've cut and pasted the same link so many times, you get to the stage where you're like, have I done Twitter? I better go back and check. And oh no, did I put it to Medium? I did, I didn't, I don't know where I'm up to. And you can get really confused, and it wastes time. Whereas this does it in minutes, half an hour, and it also can be, you know, scattered at the times that you want it to go out. It's definitely an Aladdin's cave, in that once you see all the treasures that are inside, you get really greedy. It's like, oh, it can do this and it can do that, and it can do even more things. But if you go into it with, I would like to see if it can do this one thing, you can sort of get out of it without spending too much time in there, but you can get a result.
Well, our friend Animura says he lives by the phrase "set it and forget it," and that's what you can do with the bots. Once you're happy that it's working right, you can set it and just leave it. I think the other thing is that I don't know about you, but I forget things.
No,
and you can't forget things once you've set them up.
Well, one thing we should say, because you can set it and forget it, and that's really tempting, and we all do it. But you do need to do kind of a monthly maintenance to go in and check, because APIs change, things happen, and then your links are broken and things aren't working. And I think Stephen just recently had this happen where an API changed or something, and then the things weren't being pushed out where they were supposed to be with a service. It was not.
Was that Medium? Stephen, was that Medium?
No, that was LiveLeap.
Kevin, yeah. Medium's also stopped doing accepting posts coming in. They send an email out, but yeah, exactly that. If you can, one of the things I talk about with business automation, I have my 3 S's is sort of what I refer to, and they're software, systems, and staffing. And the software is things like IFT, but the systems are something like going in and once a month having a checklist of all the, go and check IFT, go and check Zapier, go and check YouTube and Twitter and see if anything weird is happening, especially any social media site that you only use infrequently and you're pretty much just using automation for. And you can scatter that over a month. So it's not like at the end of the month you've got to spend a whole day on it, but you can set up a system. And then when I talk about staffing, that's both yourself, but it's also anybody you're hiring. You know what your needs and your requirements are. So automate yourself. Set up a calendar reminder that on this month I will go and check whatever it might be. And then you've got a checklist that for half an hour I'll check 5 social media sites, everything's fine, then you can forget it for another month. By doing those sort of little things, you save so much time rather than finding out that, you know, your Twitter's being spammed and you're getting emails and people are asking, you know, what are you doing? Why do you keep posting the same link continually? What's going on? Are you hacked? And all those other fun things that you have questions about.
Well, as a creative person, I am not terribly organized by nature. And my husband's probably chuckling if he could hear me. He has headphones on. He is like uber organized just by nature. It's how his brain works. So everything is in a spreadsheet. If he builds a website and your website got hacked and went down today, he could have it back up in 24 hours because he has everything saved in a very particular system that's ready to go. If I built your website and it went down, we're starting over. Because I'm just not that organized. I will have the graphics and things saved, but he's just very meticulous. And that's by nature. That's how he works and, you know, how his brain works. That's not true for me. So it takes a little bit more work for me as someone who doesn't come by that by nature. And even when I'm using tools, because I certainly use tools to automate things and to make things easier and faster, I find that I don't think about using them in the same ways that you and Stephen, for example, are using them. Both of you have mentioned that you have if this, then that, sending information out 2 different ways, and I'll let you both talk about that, to Excel spreadsheets so that then you have everything right there. I've never used if this, then that in that way. I've never set it up to do a spreadsheet. And I think part of that is it just doesn't occur to me. And then another part of it is I hate Excel. Like I hate anything in a spreadsheet is like, I hate it. And I hate numbers too. So there you've got something that deals with both. And so I just don't think to do that, but it would be very helpful, especially, you know, for finances, that's great. But also Stephen uses it so that every show that he does, every live show that he does is in that spreadsheet with the links and everything. And so he can go back and if he has evergreen content, he can just go down that list and pull it out and pop it up there at another time a month later. So those are things that I need to do. And even with, and we're going to let you talk about how you're using Google Voice. I'm aware of Google Voice. I've used it before. And I've mentioned this to Tanya because I'm Southern. You know, anybody with an accent, Google doesn't know what you're saying. But Tanya has helped me realize that the longer that you use it, it's learning. The machine is learning as you're going. And so it learns your language and it gets better as it goes. So just keep using it. But it never, even though I'm completely aware of the tool, I never would have thought to use it in the way that Tanya's using it with Live. And I'll let her tell you about that.
Well, that's a good intro. And Tanya, over to you and Google Voice. Okay,
so I'm a fast typist. I've always been a fast typist. I was trained as a secretary. So, you know, I think I got up to about 160 words a minute. But even with that, I was always finding that I was stopping and thinking, and am I spelling that right? And even with that, I'm a good speller. But I was talking to somebody about, you know, writing a book, and they were going, it takes so long to do. And I thought, well, there's got to be an easier way, especially for people who aren't fast typists. You know, just because I am doesn't mean everybody else is. So I knew about dragon speaking, and dragon speaking is both expensive and you've got to spend a lot of time training it and you've got to muck around with it. And at the end of it, you feel like throwing it away. That's what I did when I played around with it because it was work. It was hard work. And I'm totally against anything that is complicated and fussy and annoying. And that's what Dragon was. So I found Google Voice Typing, and I've got the Australian accent, and I played around with it, and it recognised my voice. It took a while for it to get Tania Shipman. It would often put it in as Tania Shipment. But I just learned to just find and replace it, and it just did it then. I've got Google Voice Typing actually working on my tablet as I'm talking to you, and I was able to record so many and keep down so many Facebook Lives and actually be able to copy it straight afterwards. And on my timeline, I just did one yesterday that has, I've recorded, you see the raw data, because one of the things I believe in is don't make it look pretty so that it looks like it's perfect. Google Voice Typing is free. It's available on your computer, on your tablet, on your Android phone, and it's going to make mistakes, but it's a lot faster than trying to get anything transcribed. And anybody who uses video at some stage or another needs to get something transcribed. And it's expensive. Then you have to check that it's right. Then you have to go, it's not right. Then you either have to send it back to the transcriber, and then you have to fix it up yourself again. And then you're still having to struggle with it. I'm sitting here and watching my words appear in front of me. So Google Voice Typing, somebody's asked how it works. Michelle has asked. Okay, some technical stuff, so that might bore a few people, but I'll show you how you use it. Chrome is where you use Google Voice Typing, or an Android phone or tablet. It will occasionally stop working. I'll be totally honest. As I said, it's a free product. So if it stops working, just as I just leant forward then, I tipped at my recorder again and it started going again. It can record other people speaking, but the best way to do that is to allow the video to be recorded and then play it back through your speakers. Set your Google Voice Typing to, I keep forgetting it. Is it SoundMax? I'm bad with all these technical stuff. The microphone is called...
we'll come back to that.
Yeah, come back to it. I can't remember what it is. But it's where sound plays through your computers. And then it can actually hear what you're saying as if it was going through a microphone. So normally you've got a mic on, a lapel mic or whatever, and it can hear all the words that you're saying, and it types it in front of you. Now, you talk at about 150 words a minute, and if you're somebody like me, you just I probably talk about 180, and other people might talk at about 120. But at 120 words a minute, you're typing much faster than if you're sitting there and trying to type, because most people type at about 40 words a minute. So you're 3 times faster. You're recording your live videos. You can use it for emails. You can use it for just creating a book. The Google Voice Typing cheat sheet that I created, I wrote a book called 1,000 Words in 10 Minutes. Now, most people would have no chance of typing 1,000 words in 10 minutes. And I actually, at one stage doing a demonstration, actually did 8,000 words in 10 minutes. So, you know, the productivity and the ability to be able to create a book really quickly becomes much easier when you can just sit there and chat. So, somebody was asking something about GChat, was it, or something?
That was Corinda. You just said, I thought it was talk like GChat.
GChat was something that Google had a while ago. It is on, I think, on the Android phones and the Android tablets, but Google Voice Typing is actually on Chrome, and it just allows you to talk. The GChat I think he's talking about is if on a tablet, but that's what I'm using. I've got a tablet, Android tablet, and it's recording all the things I'm talking, as I said there, and it got the words pretty well. You can actually even have it to hide if you say a word that it thinks is not a good word to be saying, it'll actually asterisk it out.
Well, I think
censorship.
Censoring it. Using Google Voice to, so using it for your lives, and particularly if you're just doing a live on your own, then 9 times out of 10, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're on your own and you don't have a guest, is probably educational or informational. And so you're going to want that piece of content in writing as well for your blog, for your emails, for the ebook that you're going to write. But Tania, have you used this to put, to go in and put the word just went right out of my head. So if somebody's watching your videos, it'll have the words underneath it, the closed captioning. Have you used it for that? Because that's something that a lot of people don't really understand the value of closed captioning. Yes, it's a lot of work. If you can use Google Voice to make it happen, it's very, very valuable, because a huge portion of videos on Facebook are watched with no sound. The majority of them, in fact, are viewed without sound. Yeah. So if you have that, you're going to get more views, because they can actually watch what you're saying without not have the sound on. And we know, I don't know why, but apparently daytime is the best time for going live. You get a bigger audience while everybody's at work, working. They're always watching us instead.
Surfing, listening.
But if they don't have a headset's put in or something, they can't turn the sound on. So if you can do the closed captioning and do it simply by recording as you're doing your live, or recording the live after if you have guests, then you're going to get more views on your live. It's almost on your videos. It's almost guaranteed, because videos that include closed captioning get more views. For that reason, it's not always because people, are hearing impaired. It's simply because people watch videos without sound.
Yep,
that's true.
And I have used it. So it's what the main thing is that most Facebook Lives and the typing, you're looking at 10,000 to 20 or 30,000 words, which doesn't sound like a lot. Well, it does sound like a lot, but when you're trying to put it onto a Facebook Live video, it's a lot of work. I've gone in and done the captioning, and I think that's the word, the closed captioning. That's something that if anybody can come up with a product that can do that, I'm going to buy it like immediately. There are some options where you can upload it, but then matching it to the words. So Facebook actually has a built-in captioning, but it's fairly poor.
Yeah. I tried it just on a short video, and I gave up. I really did give up. It's bad.
Yeah, if anyone out there is watching has figured out the secret to closed captioning and simplifying and automating, we want you on our show.
All right. Just taking a segue for a moment. There was a program broadcast by Leland Best earlier today. If you can catch it, you will see there a program called Wix. And what Leland was doing, he was using vMix, and he was using it so that it did do closed captioning at the time he was saying the words. Wow. So it's live closed captioning. He was using vMix, but you could equally well. I tried Manycam. I'm still trying, but it is on the way. Closed captioning is definitely the way things are going, and I'm going to look into the Google Voice. I know Tina's going to do it as well. We might, in actual fact, be able to do our Udemy course quicker if we dictated all the notes. You never know.
Really, look, I did the whole book, the 1,000 words in 10 minutes. That it was an upsell for the cheat sheet. I did the whole of that in Google Voice Typing. And the tips that I can give you if you're going to use Google Voice Typing is when you're talking, if you can do it on a computer, first of all, it makes it a bit easier, because when you finish a sentence, hit enter, and then it goes to the next line for you. So Google Voice Typing does allow you to put in paragraph and full stop and comma and all the rest. But when you're trying to talk about a subject that you're really passionate about, by being able to hit the enter key, but if you're trying to stop and put in all the punctuation, you're going to drive yourself nuts, because it won't work, or it'll write the word comma, so you'll be going comma, 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 bugger it. Oops, I should have.
It won't take the bugger it, so you're all right. You're covered.
Actually, it didn't. I have tested that, but you get frustrated. So my tip is, when you're recording anything in Google Voice Typing, when you take a breath, hit an enter, and that then makes it a new sentence.
Yeah.
In Google Voice Typing is, of course, done in Google Docs. But if you have Microsoft Office, you can download it as a Word document, and there's a find and replace in Word where you can actually find all the paragraph marks and replace it with a full stop and a paragraph mark. So you've now got your sentences with a full stop in front at the end of them, or your paragraphs. And then the other thing you can also do is both Google Docs and Word have change case so that you can do a sentence case. So it gives you a capital letter at the beginning. And it does capital letters at the beginnings, but if you've put in full stops, it will tidy it up for you. So even if you can write your whole Udemy course with enters when you've taken a breath or you want to start a new paragraph, you can easily send that off to an editing, somebody on Fiverr even, and just say, look, go through and make this into sentences for me, and then have it come back for quite a cheap value to then be able to create your Udemy course or your ebook or anything else like that. Everything can pretty much be used. I've done it with just a straight recording, again, playing through the computer. Stereo mix, that's the word I was looking for. You use the stereo mix option in your computer sound cards. And if you don't know how to do it for Microsoft Word, no, for Office, no, what are we using? For Windows 10, in my business automation group, one of my smart members has worked out a way to install it on Windows 10, and you can just play it and have the words appear in front of you. I can't tell you how powerful it is when you're talking about something you're passionate about and watching the words appear on the screen without having to type, and I'm slow typing and I can't think of the words. You can just blurb and then go back through and edit and cut and paste and delete, and it's really fun to actually watch the words appear in front of you.
Stephen, I'm going to ask you to drop me in the lobby for a few moments. I've got allergies and my eye is like driving me nuts, so I will be back. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. So Tia, we're back with us in a moment. Now, I want to talk about Automation 101, which is your Facebook group. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to post a link so that everybody can see it. And I just took a look over there, and just let me type this in. And I can see that Brigetti, our friend Brigetti, and Raven, and Rafia, and Philip, and Monique are already members, along with Corinda. So I have just pressed the button to join the group. Can you explain what the group is about?
Business Automation 101 started from, I suppose, it took me a while to figure out what my niche was, in that I have a lot of information in my head, and my business is called Simple Solutions, and people would get confused about what a simple solution was. So I started thinking about the business automation. So I wanted to create a group in which people could come in and talk about the business automations that they do, and I've got quite a few developers that are in the group. I also wanted people who had no idea what business automation even was, but they knew that they needed to do something. Right. So that they had a place that they could ask in. So the whole idea of the group is simply we look for ways to automate your groups, how to automate your business, coming up, as I said, my 3 S's of systems, software and staffing. So if I find a great software or somebody else finds a great software, they're invited to share. Everybody who joins the group gets an individual welcome, and I just ask, share what you do, so that people get an idea of what they're about. And we have people who are doing drop shipping. We have people who are doing consulting work. It's not a group where you have to be a specific sort of person. You just really have to be running a business, and that covers everybody. And that's where I was in the beginning, was that I could I've never been stumped by anybody asking, how can I help your business? Ever. There's always something that can be improved in a business, and you just need an outside person to look at it and go, why do you do it that way? And you go, 'cause
that's the way it's always been done.
That's the way it's always been done, or that's what my mentor taught me, or that's what my boss taught me. My mind is weird, happy to admit to that. I ask why. Why do you do it that way? Isn't there a simpler way? There must be a simpler way. And sometimes I'm able to help because I know a software that would help. Obviously I love BeLive TV. I've told everybody about that. I've told everybody about IFT, Zapier, all of the other OnlyWire, Buffer, Hootsuite. There's just so many automations that can just make life easier if you're an online person, but they also can make your life easier if you're an offline business person. So it welcomes online, offline. It's just for business people who want to save time. And that's the thing that is my enemy, wasting time. I hate wasting time. So when I can help somebody save time, that's what the group's all about. Oh, okay, cool. I'll add some people in. Thank you for everybody who's joined.
And live video works. John, I'll see you inside the group. Yeah, now, just as I said, when before I applied to join, I noticed one particular name there, and it's somebody that we've and who's made a difference to our lives, not just our lives, but the lives of quite a lot of people over the recent months, and that's Rehan.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Talk about him for a moment, because I think he sort of came into our lives and took over. Well, he's very energetic is the word I'm looking for.
Absolutely, yeah. Rehan and I have been friends for about 2 years. We met in San Diego at JV Zoo Marketing Mayhem, and then we went to Social Marketing Media World at the same time. He didn't even know about Social Marketing Media World, social media marketing. I get it around the wrong way every single time. But I told him I was going to it next. I'd come over from Australia for Marketing Mayhem, and it was like 2 days later, it was like it was meant to be. So we then went to that as well, and we got to meet Chris Brogan and Guy Kawasaki, and he sat and talked with me. And Rehan and I have just been friends ever since. And he's just had me recently do a 10-part series on his page just about how to make money from the internet, just for people in Pakistan, because same as Rehan, I totally believe that there's no reason anybody can't be making money from the internet. It's just if they want to. If they put barriers in front of their way, well, then they won't. But if you want to make money on the internet, you can. You just have to be able to put yourself out there. It's the same with the Facebook Lives. Rehan wanted me 2 years ago to do videos. He shot a video of me with a homeless man. And he said, "Do videos, Tanya," and I went, "No." So he was quite pleased to get on and go, 90 days, 10. How many years ago did I tell you to do that?
It's much easier now, though.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
It is.
Can we just, sorry, Stephen. And
Tina.
One of the things that in upcoming shows, I know Stephen and I have talked about many times, having guests on and just asking them, how has BeLive changed your business model? How has it been like the best thing ever? Has it just been not really? Or like, how has it made a difference or impacted your business?
For me, it's majorly impacted my business because it makes it easier for me to do a BeLive TV and to do a Facebook Live. I hate wasting time, and before I couldn't schedule anything, and I do some scheduled videos and I just do some, hey guys, I'm here. It just depends on how much time I've got, what other things are happening. I not only have my online business, I also work full time because I work full time. I've got a job that I'm very passionate about. But my online business is where I'm concentrating on my efforts, because that's where I love being. But BeLive has meant that I can schedule a video and go to bed and when I wake up, there'll be people who'll be wanting to watch. I have people joining in on a regular basis because they get the notifications that BeLive has set up. It's easy for me to do screen sharing now with the new functionalities that they brought in. And I know a lot of people have said, it's costing money now, but many of us use Blab. It was Blab, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was Blab, yes.
Yeah, and it was amazing to use, but it went the way of the dodos because they didn't monetize it. So products that you need to use that are good quality have to be monetized, or else they disappear. It's, nobody's in it for nothing. So I'm quite happy to be paying my monthly fee or my yearly fee to be able to have the functionality that BeLive is. I had a friend of mine earlier today. He always does his Facebook Lives on a phone. And I said, look, come and join me. I'm talking. And he said, what have I got to do? And I said, click on the link. And he was able to join in. There was no download software, upload this, connect APIs, muck around. He just got on and talked, and we had a great conversation. Adair, you mentioned Adair on the BeLive links earlier. For the two of us, she and I got on one night and had a great talk about everything. That's the power of BeLive, is that there's no you must download and I must download and we've got to sync, and it's not perfect. No product, no software is perfect. But for my business model, for where I am now, it does everything that I need. So why change it when it's doing what I need? And that's something that I'm totally, it's my business model, mindset, thoughts, everything is, if it works, use it. And if it stops working, then look for something else. And this is working so well.
Right. And one of the things that people will ask me, or they just ask in general, is, how do you monetize your live stream and your live videos? And I think people get hung up with the idea of, and this just takes it back to the mindset of what we've seen in the past, and that has been traditionally YouTube. And the way that those have been monetized have been through the advertising revenue that you get from YouTube and the advertisers, and or sponsorships for your show. And so I think people are coming at it the wrong way, because for people like us anyway, and when I say us, I mean Stephen, the three of us that are here, because our businesses are online or on the internet, this is just another tool to inform and educate people about what we do and what we offer. And then, and then the call to action is to lead them to that product. And so it's just, it's just leading them to the product. It's not necessarily the product. In some cases it is, if you're doing your training through live video, which we do training, and we've done continuing legal education training actually using BeLive. And so sometimes it is actually the product itself, if you're in terms of that. But in general, I think people are still looking at that mindset. Well, how do I get advertisers and how do I get sponsors? And I think for most businesses, that's never going to be sustainable. That's not going to sustain you. You may make a little money off of it, but it's certainly not going to, pay your bills or let you retire, as Stephen and I like to say.
It's the same with all of the monetization products that are out there. Like, at one stage everybody was Google AdSensing everything in sight, and you'd have 14 Google AdSense ads on a 300-page blog, a 300-word blog, and people gamed it, and then they changed the rules and all the rest. YouTube, they keep cutting down who can be advertisers for YouTube. You can monetize your YouTubes, but you're not getting a lot of money from it. Facebook Live, YouTube, all of these, your blog, all of them should be introducing yourself to your audience, to your customer base, to people who want to work with you. And by doing that, Facebook Live is really valuable. It actually does result in sales. Both my Facebook Live traffic automation and my Google Voice typing cheat sheet, the majority of my sales came directly from people going to my page from me doing Facebook Lives and talking about how it could work. I had JVs, which are, people who were making money from affiliate sales, but they weren't the majority of my sales. They came from people watching me on Facebook Live and me talking about it. So, you've got to change the way that you thought that you could make money from and lead people back to your business automation, like my 101 group. It's grown. I think I wanted 300 people by June. We're nearly up to 400 people in July. It's growing because people are talking about it and sharing it. I can go in there and now and talk about software and get affiliate products. I can talk about the products I use and get affiliate payments. I can sell my own products. I can recommend other people's products. You're creating the real you on Facebook Live. And it was really good on one of Rehan's shows where I did it, where somebody said, be real. That's what people need to be with Facebook Live. Wherever you are, however you've got it set up, you use what you've got. I've got a little cheap webcam that should really be updated. My mic is a whole $15 that I spent on it, and I'm doing it in my bedroom because that's where my computer is. I haven't done anything fancy, but I'm making money online, and people are coming to me to help them with consulting on their business and everything else like that, which is where my business model is set, that I create information products, but my main thing is I have clients that I work with. But it allows them to see the real me. And if you ask me a question, I'm not sitting here going, I don't really know. I've just told everybody I'm an expert, but I've got no idea. You can't get away with that on a Facebook Live. If I asked you something about social media on Facebook and you went, people would be going, Tina, what have you been saying for the last?
Well, but I disagree to that to some extent. We have got an do you see anybody else?
No.
Yeah, we've got the echo at the moment.
Okay, maybe it'll go away.
It did. You're okay now.
No, I think that's true. I mean, you don't want to come off. You should know things, but especially in social media, in my world, things happen and change so quickly. I don't always know the answer, and I just tell them, look, I don't know. I'm still figuring this out myself because they changed it, and I think that's fine. But you're right. Be authentic. Be you. Tell the truth. If you don't know, people don't expect you to know everything.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. What I was trying to say is that something that was really basic, that you've just spent a week saying, I'm an expert. This is the latest information, and then they ask you that question, because on Facebook Live, they're in your face. You can't sort of go, just take a time out. I'm going to re-record that. And, okay, now I've come back and I know all the answers. Exactly as you said, you have to be honest. You have to say, look, I don't know about that. The reason I don't know about that, on Rehan's page when I did those things, somebody asked me about e-commerce, and I said, I know a bit about it, but I'm not an expert. You don't need me to be giving you advice. Go and find somebody who is an expert. Right. But I could have, if I was unscrupulous, I could have said, oh, yes, I'm the expert, talk to me privately afterwards and quickly Google some information and go, yes, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we can't know everything. It's not possible. But as an expert, you should be able to at least answer or lead them to somebody who can help them. And that's what Be Real about with Facebook Live is you flat out say, I've got no idea, because it's new, or it just changed yesterday. I'm still learning it.
Yeah. Or for me, I tell people social media is what I do, but I also tell them that Facebook is what I specialize in. I know about the other platforms. I use them, but they're not my specialty. And most of the clients, not even most, all of my clients. So all the clients that I work with, Facebook is their primary social media platform. Some of them also use Pinterest, which I also happen to know pretty well, and Instagram, which I don't know that well. I know it well enough to help them use it. Really falls on them to use that end of it, because for Instagram, I haven't, maybe someone else can come on and talk to this. Instagram is definitely not my platform of choice. But I don't know how someone who's now social media consulting, I could help them with that if I were an expert in it. But how do you, as a social media manager, manage someone else's Instagram page?
I don't know. Sorry, Tania, go.
No, I'm the same. I've got no idea. You were going to say that as well. There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, because I mean, it's this. It's like you're walking around with your phone, and so if I'm in Tennessee and my client's in California, what in the world am I going to take pictures of in Tennessee? It's going to have any relevancy to what they're doing in their business out in California. I'm not. So, and I see that offered sometimes by social media managers, we'll manage your Instagram, and I'm thinking, how are you doing that? And so maybe I'm missing something, because I'm not a regular, I don't use Instagram. I have it on here, but I probably have like 4 Instagram posts. So I don't use it.
If you were awesome at discovering inspirational quotes and matching them with a background, then you've got it made.
Well, I can do that, but I still don't know that it's relevant for a business. It's, those kind of things only go so far. I would find more value for Instagram in a business with kind of behind the scenes looks at things. So if you're a floral shop, I want to see little quick videos of you putting together, the floral arrangement that you're sending out for the day or something like that. Inspirational quotes are going to, that's going to get tired pretty quickly. I think if that's all you're putting out there. So yeah, I don't know. Get off track from repurposing.
you would be amazed how people repurpose pictures and repurpose text, create something entirely new of their own manufacture, and then put it onto Instagram and get hundreds, if not thousands, of likes.
Yeah. So you can tell that Instagram is not my.
Well, I use Instagram for photographs.
For what? You use it for what? Photographs? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even use it for that. It's funny because as much as I'm into social and I've been involved in social media for as long as it's been around, I'm not a huge fan of smartphones. Like, this is a phone to me. That's how I use it, as a phone. I don't like to text and I don't like to use this the way that most people do, which is bad for the business that I'm in. I should, make more of an effort with that. But I don't have to because I've specialized in something else that doesn't require me to. So I just don't. But I don't like using the phone for other things. I don't use my phone when I go live. I know a lot of people do, but unless I'm in the field. But even when I'm in the field, I'll drag Michael with me with the laptop and the and the 4K cameras, and we'll shoot that way rather than using the phone. So.
That's one of the things that's the beauty about business automation. Sorry, Stephen, did you want to?
No. The screen is all yours, Tania.
Is that it caters to the level of the person who's using it. So the complex things that Stephen and I might use, which you're saying earlier might be nice to have, could be set up for you, and then you can just forget it. Your husband can check it once a month, or you can run your eye over and then go, oops, that big bill for shoes or a holiday, I'll delete that line out. And then
Censorship. No.
So we were talking about, monetizing your live videos. And I think and I got us off track there, so I'll try to get us back on that. But I think that the thing is that you use this as, to build your know, like, and trust fact, credibility, that kind of thing. And then also to educate and to teach. And everyone that I see that's monetizing this and making sales through it, what they're doing is they're giving away something of value. So when they come live, they're there. They're going to be providing for you something that you can take back and use in your business or in something like that. So that's the majority. Now, I am seeing people who have actual physical products and not information products also monetizing Facebook Live. And two come to mind, and both of them are actually MLM, network marketing things. And one of them is this pearl thing. I don't know what the business is called, but they have a bucket full of oysters and they open them up and get the pearls out. And people are like, I want this one and I want that piece of jewelry to put it in and blah, blah, blah. And there's hundreds of people watching live. And the same thing for LuLaRoe, which is like leggings and clothing. It's a clothing line. There's one person, and actually Molly Mahoney, who all of us at Be Live know. I believe it's her sister-in-law, and she's helped them with using their live. They're hysterical. They have costumes. They have like a cowbell. They have all this crazy stuff going on. And, at the end of the day, they're selling clothing. And they have, 100, 200 live viewers at one time watching them and saying, I want this one and this one. So you can definitely use this to make money, to build an income, just not in the traditional sense of, how am I going to get an advertiser or a sponsor? Stop thinking about it in that form and think about it in how you can sell either the product or the services that you already have. Use this as a catalyst for as part of your funnel to get people to make those purchases. And marketers, if you go look at what marketers are saying about live video, they're like ecstatic about live video. They say live video is like, the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the best conversion tool they've ever seen if you're using it to convert into a sale. And not a lot of people aren't doing that. They're either looking at what kind of like entertainment show can I do that I can get a sponsorship for, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that unless you're a very lucky person like PewDiePie, you're probably not going to make enough money to live off of. Never mind retire doing it that way.
And that's so true, because it really is the sponsorship deals, any of those sort of things. No businesses are not interested in doing that anymore. They have a few spokespeople, but in the past, where money was thrown at a whole heap of different people, it's just not working that way anymore. It's the same as advertising in newspapers. People aren't doing that because people aren't reading newspapers. People aren't being sponsored to, say, this Facebook Live is brought to you by, whoever. There are some who are still able to do that, who have huge audiences, but they have huge audiences. And I know, I don't know if it was in Be Live, but quite a few people have been saying, how many people do you get to your Be Lives? I know where it came in. They were talking about how with the new advertising that they're thinking of offering on Facebook Live videos, you have to get, 100 or 300?
300 live viewers.
Yes, yeah.
Concurrent.
Yes, concurrent, and over a period of time on on your page, and it just doesn't happen that way, because goldfish mines, where you just look for the most interesting thing people flit, you can watch it later at your own time. I watch a lot of my Facebook Lives later because I've got a Chrome extension that allows me to watch them at 1.5 or even 2 times speed. So, I love getting on a Facebook Live with other people, but when I'm watching them for myself, I'm usually and then they're finished, because I'm a busy woman, and so is so many other people. So the Facebook with their advertising, I think, is really making it hard for anybody to make any money that way. So don't look at it for money that way. Give it up. Who's going to take out a big advert in a newspaper anymore? Would either of you?
I wouldn't. I used to work for a newspaper. I know better. I was just going to say, and I'm probably going to butcher his name as well, but Jorge Narvaez, I'm not sure how you say his name, but he's a YouTuber, but he's also built a very large following on Facebook, about 500,000 users or 500,000 likes on his page. When he goes live, he gets those numbers.
Yep.
He has elected not to monetize because he does not want his live video interrupted by commercials. And they have no control over when that break happens. And so he's chosen not to monetize over here in that way. And another thing about getting people to sponsor you or having ads supporting, and that's the only thing that you have coming in, just like PewDiePie that we mentioned earlier, who has made millions of dollars on his YouTube channel. There was like a mass exodus from YouTube because of a prank that he did that offended a lot of people, and they pulled their sponsorships and they actually pulled out of YouTube altogether. And that's one of the reasons you're seeing the changes at YouTube, making it much more difficult to monetize your videos over there, is because of all of that happened with him. You're putting what you can and cannot say, what you can and cannot do in the hands of someone else when you do that. That's true. I prefer not to do that.
Absolutely.
You're giving up control.
Sorry, Stephen. I was going to say, the thing about him is, if you know who this is, he didn't do anything out of character. He's completely himself. And then all of a sudden they're offended and mad because he's doing what he's done from the beginning. So you don't think that if they like you now that they won't just pick up and leave, because they certainly will if you do anything that, at the moment is offensive, that wasn't offensive when you did it the last time. So anyway, I think that it's harder to do it the way that Tanya and Molly Mahoney and Stephen and even myself, we're looking to monetize in ways that aren't affected by that.
That's true. That's true. I'm mindful of the fact that it's nearly 3:00 where you are, Tanya. But
oh my goodness.
We've had a fantastic hour, and thank you for joining us. To everybody who's watched, thank you. And Tanya, the floor is yours for the last couple of minutes or so. And if you let people know how they can get in touch with you and leave your message for the day, your call to action.
My call to action. Okay, so the easiest way to get in contact with me is through either my Business Automation 101 group, by joining it, or by just messaging me on Facebook. I read all of the messages that I get. I can help your business. It's as simple as that. Whatever your business is, I can come up with a business automation that will help you. So if you're interested in actually saving time in your business and actually being more productive, contact me and let's talk about working together, because whatever business you're in, I can save you time, and time equals money, and money can always be made, but once you've lost the time, it's gone forever. So find out a way that you can actually be able to be more productive in your own business.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Tania.
Succinct, to the point.
Yes. And I'm actually putting the link to your group in the comments right now, so
thank
you can follow it.
And you've got at least 3 new members today, Tania, so that's a good start to your day. To everybody who's been watching, thank you. Tina did the intro, so I'll do the outro. Tina and I will be back again next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. We look forward to seeing you then, if not before. Have a great week and take care. And Tania, thank you again. Tina, I'll see you shortly.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
And